I have a question then. Could we agree, and this because obviously there's some disagreement here as to whether or not they should have passed it or not amongst this group. Can we agree that as a whole then that the real crux of the matter lies in the way our elected officials have communicated with us? I think that had
Absolutely.
they communicated with us properly and said, listen, this is what we want to do moving forward before any of this came down, that we probably would have shouted and said this is wrong, et cetera, because that's what we do. Let's be honest. I think that that's important and it's necessary. But we would have said, you know what, we'll grit our teeth, we'll let it go through. There would have been a day or two of rage, and then we would have moved on, and we said, okay, let's focus on how do we move forward with that? Is that something that where we would find an agreement? And if so, if that is the crux of the issue, the problem, how do we get our Congress critters to fix that problem? That's my
First off,
question.
I think that the first thing that we need to do is we need to continue to call our Congress critters Congress critters. We should that's a thing that we should continue to do.
Because it's gender neutral, and it isn't bowing to
And
the patriarchy or the cisgender hegemon or whatever the feminist term is these days.
Well, it makes me think of them
stop
as
being so.
Pokemon creatures. I just have this
They
ball
seem
with
like
this
cute and
Congress critter
cuddly
in
and
it.
stuff. I think I'm gonna crochet a little Congress critter.
Yes,
Thank you, Fishy.
absolutely.
Thank you so much for that.
Man, now I'm completely
But
lost.
yeah, I agree. It is a communication thing, and there's a very recent painful example of how bad communication can screw up even the truth. I placed a service ticket with a vendor of ours yesterday. It was very complex. I attached a bunch of information and screenshots and blah blah blah, and all I got back was an email. I logged in and fixed it. Okay, and then I logged into one of the sites that was supposed to be fixed, and it wasn't fixed. So then I got all kinds of irritated and reopened the ticket, and when they sent the customer satisfaction survey, I gave them a really not an excellent score. And then this morning got information from the technician that, well, actually what I had done when I got in to fix it at this one site, I saw the problem and I fixed the problem as you had said, and I uploaded it, and it was overnight going to be propagated out to all your other sites, and I have checked your other sites and they are good as of this morning, so everything is great. And I'm like, so dude, had you just said those 3 sentences yesterday, everything would have been fine and you would have gotten a great score. Because he really did fix the problem. He understood the problem as I had communicated it, and he really did, in fact, fix it. But because he did not communicate to me effectively, I didn't know that he had fixed it. He did not set the expectations properly, that it would all be fixed at all the sites by the next day. So I thought that he was bad and wrong and a failure and a loser and a bad person. He was, in fact, a good person, lousy communicator, and a good tech, but a lousy communicator. And that's an example of, and our Congress has done that to us. And what we've been getting in the midst of all of it is rumors, and I'm sure it's all is rumors that Boehner hates us and McConnell's going to foil us and all of that, which is rumors led by the left because they want us to believe that, and we are far too credulous and accepting of all of those stories. We know the media lies, we know the media hates us, but when that same media who lies and hates us tells us that John Boehner said something bad about the Tea Party, we believe it.
Well, and when we talk about what the left is very good at, they have, of course, this great, media
Journalist.
media complex that's supporting what they're doing, and conservatives don't. Okay, but that said, as you were talking about, using the media we do have, the media that should be friendly to us, and attempt to at least inform and let our folks know what processes are going on, what strategies are being thought about. It isn't as though we need those strategies broadcast everywhere so that the Democrats have an opportunity to counter that before we ever enact it. But what we probably need to do is start thinking as though we're all on the same team, perhaps, that we should be pulling together when possible.
Amen. Amen.
Pulling together when possible. That is not to say that you take anything uncritically that a congresswoman says, but that you give them the benefit of the doubt if they're talking to you. If they're not, it's very easy to assume something bad is going on when they just might not wanting to be letting the strategy out there. And so can we start maybe with the assumption that we don't know everything that's going on, and that's for two
maybe
reasons?
You don't, but I do.
Well, you might, but you're not telling me about it. See, you're
Leslie's
that
the
communicator.
worst communicator in the world. Doesn't tell anybody anything.
Can we start with that
Nothing.
assumption? Can we start with that assumption that we don't know what's going on there, that we're not in the cloakrooms, we're not hearing the things that are going on, and there might be a couple details that we're missing? And can we also go from there and say that in absence of that we should be communicating to our congresswomen that definitely they need to build better relationships with the conservative media that they have, the bloggers they have available to them, and that it would really help if they would take a lesson from Justin Amash, say, and put their reasoning out there. If they're going to try to defend a vote, it's a really easy thing to do. You're going to take hits on it. No one's going to be happy with it. Do it anyway. And I got to thinking, well, I wonder how many people ask the same questions that I do when they're reading a piece and deciding to share it. So I wrote this piece called The Right Questions, and it's not just about asking the right questions, but being a part of the right, which questions everything.